We are back with House Speaker Mike Johnson and House Republican Conference Chairwoman Elise Stefanik, and I wish you were privileged to the conversation in the break, but we'll try to recreate some of it. I mentioned impeachment, but that requires votes, and we mentioned that with Santos out, you have an even tighter margin. Do you have the votes to actually formally start an impeachment process?
Yeah, I believe we will. I suspect no Democrats will assist in this effort, but they should. The facts are so clear for everyone to see. Just a couple of numbers to remember, just real quick off the top. 15 million. We know that the Biden family received at least $15 million from foreign nationals and foreign companies. That includes from Ukraine, Russia, China, just between 2014 and 2019. 16 times, at least on the record, Joe Biden has lied about his involvement in the family's business dealings, Hunter Biden's business dealings. We know 22 times, at least 22 times, the president met with or talked with Hunter's foreign business associates. And we have checks. We have checks written to Joe Biden that the Oversight Committee has found in the banking records. $40,000 from China, $200,000 from a now bankrupt healthcare company that his brother James Biden apparently swindled. The evidence is so clear you cannot look away. And the Constitution requires the House to follow the truth where it leads. We have a duty to do this. We cannot stop the process.
Yeah. And we've said you guys are doing this with no help from the FBI actually trying to thwart you from doing what you're supposed to do. So I really believe you when you say you want to do transparency and you want to be transparent. You want this conference to act in a transparent way. And yet when it comes to Ukraine funding, I can't think of anything less transparent. We cannot figure out where the money is going. Even in Europe, there are conversations all the time about, leaders of that government buying villas in France and in Greece. This is our money. Why, if you look at the people, they don't really want this war to go on. They want a peace, a peace resolution or some sort of peace agreement to happen and get our money and our attention off of this. Where are you? I think you're for the Ukraine spending. Explain it.
Let me tell you, the plurality of American people now, latest Gallup poll says we're spending too much in Ukraine. The reason they say that is because the White House has completely dropped the ball on this. They've not been able to say what the objective is, what's the end game. Is there oversight over the money? We all have the same concerns. Nobody wants Vladimir Putin to prevail and march through Europe because I don't think he would stop there. Most of us agree. He might try to go to the Balkans next, and our allies over there are nervous for good reason. But we have laid down the line so clear. I did it to the White House. I've told the president, Jake Sullivan, National Security Advisor, as recently as 48 hours ago, we will not be sending money to Ukraine unless we get border policy changes on our own border. Our constituents back home say, why would we help to secure the border of a foreign country
of course,
when we don't have our own? So we've laid down the law. We passed H.R. 2, House Resolution 2, is our big immigration reform, our border reform bill, and I told Chuck Schumer himself 2 days ago, that is the line. We passed that out of the House. It's been sitting over there on your desk collecting dust. We fix the border before we do anything.
Is that a money thing that you're asking for? Because if you give more money to border, then they're just going to use it to process more people.
H.R. 2 is policy change. It goes back to the policies that we had during the Trump era when we had this thing squeezed down to almost nothing. It's, the Remain in Mexico,
yes.
It's asylum reform, it's the parole prescriptions, all the things we've all talked about. That's what we have to have. It's not throwing more money to process illegals.
Right.
It's changing and closing the border, and we're demanding it. We're going to die on that hill.
And you're committed to these all being separate funding bills?
They have to be, because there's no other way, Will, to ensure stewardship over the funds, to make sure that they're adequately watched and spent. And if you glob it all together like that, you lose control over the policy. And that's why we've been so rigid on this.
When you say die on that hill, does that mean, I know there was a continuing resolution passed that there was some grumbling about, but you're saying when it comes down to a government shutdown and showdown, H.R. 2 is a part of that?
Anytime I meet with Senate colleagues, and I was at the Senate Republican luncheon a couple of days ago, I talked to Chuck Schumer and the Democrats, I talked to Hakeem Jeffries, my counterpart and the minority leader in the House. I said, if I had T-shirts that would print one thing, border, border, border. That's where the Republicans are, because that's where the American people are. We have to do that first before we do any of these other things. That's where we stand.
And as you all know, this is not just a southern border issue. This is impacting communities and states across the country. Look at New York. Look at the illegal immigration crisis right here that's impacting northern border states all across this country. Every community is a border community, so our members are unified in understanding how important it is.
It's in Malibu.
Yeah, exactly.
It's unbelievable. You're right.
Congresswoman Stefanik, Speaker Johnson, thank you guys so much for being with us this morning. It's been an enlightening conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you. So great to have you.